Good afternoon. It's Monday. Uh, I know I said I wasn't going to do my last video. I said it wasn't going to be a week between videos, but again, in following spirit, I just don't do something unless the energy's there. And all week long, I've been hearing in the back of my head, reminding myself, oh, well, you said you were going to do this and you said you were going to do that. And the energy is just not there to do it. If I don't get direction to do something, or the energy is not there to do it, energy in any form, whether it be energy, just from me, motivation, or energy in the form of resources, money. If there's something I think that it's mine to do, but the quote energy is not there to do it, I can't do it, and it's just obviously at that now moment, it's not mine to do regardless of what the little me thinks, with obligations and social structures and yada yada yada, all the stuff that we've been culturalized to do or think to make us worthy. Because we're worthy simply because we are, not because of what we do or what we say or anything else. You're simply worthy because you are. I don't know if I ever shared that with you. I think I'll do it right now. Just the basic lies, the foundational lies of this civilization. The base foundation lie, the primary first lie of this civilization is that you're separate from spirit. And all of, not all, a good portion of the religions, philosophies, they all focus on us as separate individuals apart from the universe, i.e., struggling humans. Life's a bitch and then you die. And that's the baseline foundational lie of this whole civilization, the worldwide civilization, going back thousands of years, is that you're separate from spirit. You're not separate from spirit. Again, there's my 30-year challenge. Show me something outside of all that is. Transitive law of equality says you're worthy. You're worthy simply because you are. If A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. So you're worthy simply because you're part of all that is. And there's nothing separate and outside of all that is. So that makes you worthy simply by being. By being. Yeah. Not even being you. You could be anything else, but simply by the fact that you are, you're worthy. Worthiness, or the lack thereof, unworthiness, is the second lie. Because built upon the first lie, the question would be begged to be asked, well, if I'm separate from spirit, why? Why don't I rate being part of spirit? What have I done? Why am I unworthy? And that's the second lie of this civilization, is that you're unworthy. You're not unworthy. You're not separate from spirit, lie number one. Lie number two, you're not unworthy. And in this civilization and in our psyche, and we're trained and culturalized, people will do all kinds of things. They will strategize to either prove the lie of unworthy or dispel the lie of unworthy. And neither one, because they're polar opposites, life is exquisite in the center of the paradox. You're worthy simply because you are. You're not worthy and you're not unworthy. You just are. And because of that, you are. You're part of all that is. And there's no part of all that is that's unworthy. Again, when I was talking to my younger sister, Cynthia, earlier today, we always have good conversations, marathon-like conversations. Today we did an hour and 40 minutes. Uh, Before I got ready to run off on another tangent, and I go, oh no, don't even bring that up. That'd be another hour. So we cut it there at an hour and 40 minutes. But we were having a really good conversation, and we were talking about the fact that we're not alone. We're really not alone. Cynthia is, I told you, she's my hero. Uh, And I don't have a lot of heroes, but she's one of my heroes. As a light worker, as Jrim Kim Fu, she's stalwart. She's been in the trenches, okay? But her assignment is really rough. But she looks at me when I talk, and she goes, "You're you're dealing with blindness, and you have to accept and come to terms with that. So yeah, your assignment is just as hard as mine, and it's not that we're martyrs. It's just that this is what we were discussing. One of the many things that we discussed when as Jim Kam Fu, and this is not what I wanted to talk about when I sat down and hit the play button, but I'm here. As Jim Kam Fu, we we are the best. We're the special forces. So when we take on something and it looks like it's a struggle in the world or a struggle in your personal life, as Jim Kam Fu, as a light worker, you volunteered for this. This is something that you sent yourself to do because you knew you were capable of pulling it off. You knew you could do this before you sent yourself here. That's why you sent yourself here, because you knew you'd be successful at it. Now, down here on this end, I'm talking the big you did all of that because the big you knows you because you're part of it and it knows you better than you know you because you're veiled and the big you's not. So when we're in the trenches here and we take on something, whatever it is, it seems like it's the end of the world and you just can't go on. But you have to remember, everyone, all of you, you have to remember you're not alone. You will only be given so much until you've had enough. And the big you knows when you've had enough. And then respite will come. Relief will come. At least for that one particular issue. Like Cynthia, she used an analogy of like being down in the bottom of a well. It's dark and dank down there, and you got a rope tied to you, and there's some people up at the top of the well, outside of the well, holding on to the rope so you don't fall down at the bottom. But you're way down there deep in the. You can imagine being deep in a well, okay? No light, dark, it's dank and it's moldy and yada, yada, yada. Might stink or whatever, but it's not a pleasant place to be. And you, the one down there at the end of the rope in the well, man, you would sure like to get pulled up into some fresh air and and just relief from this. But then consider the possibility that just when you think, okay, I've had enough, instead of pulling you up, they let you down a little bit deeper into the well. And then you go, oh my goodness, now what? But the big you is the one holding the rope outside of the well. The big you knows exactly what you're capable of. So if the big you lets you down a little bit farther, what you as Jim Kim Fu, what we all have to do is whatever it is, the situation is that our larger selves put us in as light workers, our job is to transmute it, transmute those dense energies, not to be relieved of it and like I said, rainbow farts or unicorn farts and fairy dust. That's not who we are. There might be other light workers and that's their assignment, but as Jim Kam Fu, that's not our assignment. We're in the trenches. We're the special forces. We know we can do this. This is why we have the really hard assignments. Well, Cynthia was at the end of her rope. I sent her $50 through the banking system, Zelle, last week. She had 1 gallon of water. I did tell you that she's homeless, right? She's 61-year homeless black woman in Seattle, in the Northwest, and that's her assignment. That's what she's doing. Anyway, uh, but she's a transmutation station. She transmutes energies. She's 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 been doing that for years. She used to man SeaTac Light Center. She had her own star base, the whole 9 yards. And then, like all of our assignments change. Just like, Georgianne and I, we had Activation Ascension Alliance in Chicago. That was our star base in the sense, while that was our star base, but then we were also a mobile unit of our star base, i.e., masquerading as long haul truck drivers. We got to go all over the country, meet a lot of good other light workers, mostly hilarious alumni, but also one of the many things we were doing as we traveled down the interstate highway or off the highway, wherever we go, we were channeling light and anchoring it into the planet. We were laying light grids all over the planet. I mean, all over the countryside. Because wherever we go, we were channeling light into the planet. So we called it laying light grids all over the planet, all over the countryside. That was one of the many assignments we were doing. But then we still manned our star base. And when we were home, we would have scheduled sessions to do with people, private sessions. We did some group sessions and stuff like that. So it's like for me. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to where I was gonna be in the beginning. This is a silent war. This is a spiritual war. This is a war between light and dark, and it's cosmic in scale. I have decided just a couple days ago, it's not me. I didn't decide. When you get to the level of frequency that I'm at, and I'm not saying that to think I'm so big. Maybe you are at that level, and if you are, I cherish that. I celebrate that. But what for me, I have this ongoing conversation with the big me. I have over the last almost 30 years now, I've come accustomed to knowing the voice of big me, the frequency. I know when I'm talking to my higher self. I know when my higher self is talking to me. Uh, I have done tons and tons of clearing. My field is clear, and I'm aware of that, and I take precautions to not allow outside energies to come into my field, and that's just through training and through longevity of doing this work. I also, my mental body, my ground crew, but specifically my mental body, has acquiesced control years ago. Years ago, like I said, you get the big U will give you give your mental body enough evidence to where it will say, okay, I'm gonna go along with this program of following spirit without hesitation. And you learn to, and through meditation, you learn to hear and recognize and become accustomed to the big U. So where I'm now, it's like half the time I don't know if it's hard for me to say especially when I'm talking to you guys. It's hard for me to act like I did this or I did that because I didn't. It's like hell, half the time I'm being reprimanded by the big me, the little me, the small me. I am being reprimanded by the big me, about, yeah, you know what? That's not the coolest thing in the world that you're thinking right now. Something to that effect. Well, in this war that we're in, this silent war, and it is a multidimensional war, it's been impressed upon me by the big me to stop using Donald Trump. And, when I'm referring to the alliance, the white hats, Q or whomever, because there's people get triggered by Donald Trump. I am not a Trump fan, to be quite honest. I know who he is, and I've seen older videos, and I honor him, but I've just never been a Trump fan. It's like Donald Trump. It's like I've seen the Trump Towers in Vegas and New York, and it's like and I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump, but I recognize that he is the face of the alliance here on planet Earth in this now time. But so that people don't get triggered, I'm just going to start referring to the alliance. And I was telling this to Cynthia today that when I say the alliance, I'm talking about Donald Trump as the public figure, the public face. Then I'm talking about the Q team. It's all inclusive. I'm talking about the Q team that's around him. That's basically the bulk of the Q team is military intelligence. According to Q, the inner circle of the Q team can be counted at 10 people, and 3 of them are civilians. That makes the 7 of them, 7 remaining, military intelligence. The military is what's going to save us. It takes something as big as the military, and not just United States military, because Donald Trump, then the Q team, then I think I mentioned to you guys that I just recently heard some data that there's 192 sovereign nations on planet Earth. 192. Well, 186 of that 192 are part of the alliance. Their military, their intelligence agencies, their leadership is covertly part of the alliance. Then we can go larger than that. That was just in the third dimension. Then we go multidimensional. I know, and I have it on very good authority, whether anybody believes me or not, I know that there are extraterrestrials, white hats. There's an extraterrestrial alliance. There's an alliance between the ETs. Us, our future selves, we're the ETs that are assisting the Earth Alliance. So expand that. The alliance is multidimensional. So when I say alliance, I'm just talking about the good guys versus the bad guys. And then in that polarity, that illusion of polarity, our job is to stay in the middle. Life is exquisite in the center of the universe. Well, I've adapted some positions in consciousness where that's one, referring to the alliance as opposed to Donald Trump, or maybe I'll say Q, but basically I'm going to start to the best of my ability referring to the White Hats as the alliance. Okay, only down here in the trenches of the third dimension and the lower octaves of the fourth dimension is there linear time. So it's basically just in the third dimension. So it seems like that we're and this linear time is an illusion. Okay, so that being said, the battle, the warfare is cosmological. It's huge. It's on a cosmic scale. The entire universe is ascending. And I don't know if I've ever shared this with you before, but this is something that I know in my knowing, that the entire universe, maybe just this one singular universe when you want to throw in the concept of multiverses. But at least this one universe that we're in, the entire universe is ascending, everything is taking the next step, another octave up, another dimension up. And everybody, that's why what's happening here is such a big deal, because we're like the catalyst that's going to cause everything to ascend. Everything is waiting. The energy is behind it all, and everything's waiting. The entire universe is ascending, and we're an integral part of it. So another item that I wanted to share was attached to form. Hilarious. When I first started waking up in Metal Areas, ET Earth Mission, that was the group of, it started out as 12 beings, and then it was just whittled down to 2 after a period of time, because 12 just was really cumbersome. But they were all walk-ins, and the one being who was a walk-in that channeled Hilarious, uh, he was with another being. It was a guy in a female body. I mean, guy in a male body, and then there was his quote partner was a being in a female body. But that's why I said quote partner, because and she channeled Polaria, a being known as Polaria. Well, after a period of time, and we all got used to Hilarious and Polaria, and then the next thing you know, John's not with that female being anymore. He's with another female being, and it just like, whoa, everybody went like, what? And the first thing Hilarious, after that, Hilarious pointed out, he asked one simple question: attached to form? And see, that's where we as light workers, especially as Rim Kim Fu, and as beings ascending, we have to get past and work through the structures of attachment, whether it be emotional attachments, psychological attachment, mental attachments, physical attachments. We have to divest and ascend above the attachments of the third dimension. It's really, really hard to do. It's one of the more difficult things to do. Uh, I'm gonna go into that later too. Not today, but I'm gonna talk some about attachments and that whole subject. But I've adjusted my position and consciousness on the mask because I came across some data that just went, wow, opened my eyes and I saw the strategy. This whole thing right now, the whole event of the pandemic and everything, the riots, the everything ever since Trump was elected, everything you know that he's been under constant attack from the left. When you play left and right, okay, conservative, Republican, yada yada yada. Even before he took the oath of office, it was already publicly stated that we're going to try to impeach him. And they have been doing that ever since he's been in office. All the stuff that he's accomplished while he's in office, he's been under constant attack of impeachment. And this year started out with the impeachment trial in the Senate, yada, yada, yada. We all know the drill. This whole thing, everything that we've experienced in 2020 for the last almost 7 months now, has been about one thing and one thing only: defeat Donald Trump in November. November 3rd is the election. And everything has been geared to stop him from being reelected. Because he has stated through the Q team that they're going after the cabal. That they're going to take down the cabal. They've been doing it. Everything that the cabal has been building up for the last 50, 60 years, he's been, for the last 3 years, undoing it, a lot of it. And once he gets reelected, because by law he can only serve 2 terms, and he will only serve 2 terms, regardless of what the media will try to tell you. Oh, he's going to try to stay in office forever. No, he's not. He's a person of integrity, and he will follow the law. The law says he can only serve 2 terms. Well, once he gets reelected, all the gloves are off. He had to tiptoe and take all the barbs and arrows this first term, because he knew he wasn't, quote, guaranteed the second term. Once he gets reelected, all gloves are off. It's no holds barred. And you wait and see. From 2021 to 2024, it's going to be bombshell. Bombshell after bombshell after bombshell. He will take down the cabal. That's with the alliance, 186 countries on the planet. They all behind that. They want to take down the cabal, and it needs to be done so that the planet can ascend. All that darkness needs to come out so that it can be transmuted to the light, and we as a planet can ascend. Well, in regards to the mask, it was a strategy, and think about. And the reason I trust Q Team more than anything else, you've heard me say, because Project Looking Glass, they do know the playbook. And I was watching a video just last night, and I saw it, and I've seen the Q post many, many times, but I didn't quite see it the way I saw it last night. I saw the Q post said Project Looking Glass. We go forward in order to look back. And I went, because a veil was removed, and I saw the technique. They go. This is how when Q says we know their playbook. The Q team's in control because they can see into the future. They can go into the future and then look back, and that's exactly what the post said. Project Looking Glass, into the future to see the past. They go into the future, say 2 or 3 years, and then they look back and they can see what has happened because the future is all probabilities and possibilities. The past is done. You can't change the past, but you can change by your choices, your conscious choices. You can change the future. You can change different timelines of probabilities, this and that. What the past is already said and done, and it's a done deal. So they can go 2 or 3 years in the future, turn around and look back and see exactly what happened. And by seeing exactly what happened in the past, they know where to set up all the roadblocks for the opposition. They know where to set up all the contingency plans because it's like nothing sticks to Donald Trump. He has the nickname Teflon Don because everything that the cabal, everything they try to do to throw at him, he turns it back around on them, i.e., back to the mask. Now, you guys know me. I can't stand it because I know what it is, okay? But think about this. My phone, I forgot to turn it up. Be right back. Okay, think about this. Oh, what the hell was I going to say? Oh, shoot. Oh, if everything's, because right now, uh, DHS, this is something Donald Trump did. He's got DHS now electronically monitoring all of the elections. So back in the day, Michael Chertoff and a whole bunch of other people, they had all these voting machines that they can tamper with because they're the manufacturers of machines. They're all computerized and they had the code and the back doors to all of them so they could change it. Well, now DHS, since Trump, DHS is monitoring all of that. So that's been taken away from them, being able to cheat by the electronic voting. Now all voting is done by paper. Okay, and if there is an electronic voting anywhere in the country, it's seriously being monitored by Department of Homeland Security, DHS. So that was taken away from them. So the big push they have right now, and you guys have all heard about it, is mail-in ballots. Hell, Trump has been tweeting over and over again about how mail-in ballots can be manipulated. It's racked with fraud. Uh, in New Jersey, in New Jersey, New York, they have in California, they have cases where mail-in ballots, are just being, thrown out because they're fraudulent. It's real easy to cheat with mail-in ballots. You don't need an ID with a mail-in ballot. But if you go vote in person, you show an ID, and because of it, and if everybody's wearing a mask, say you go to the okay, wait, I'm losing myself. The logic is with the mask. Oh, this is a lot longer than I thought. I'm gonna finish with this. The logic with the mask is that for safety of everybody's safety from the China virus. Okay, I call it China because it's from China. Okay, but so they're making everybody wear masks, and they're using that for fear. Because if everybody didn't have masks, nobody would be scared. and wouldn't be fearful. The economy would open up and everything would be, quote, back to normal for the most part. But as long as the left, the Democrats, the mainstream media, the cabal who is behind all of them, as long as they keep instilling fear, then they can push mail-in ballots. That's what they were saying. Oh, we got to shut down. It's too dangerous to go, social distance and go to and go out and vote. So you got to vote from home. Mail-in ballots so they can cheat. But now the whole thing's been turned around on them. If the mask Wearing the mask makes everybody safe and it's mandatory for safety reasons, then if you can go to the supermarket, or if you can go to Walmart, or if you can go to Home Depot, if you can go anywhere and social distance, stand in line 6 foot apart, if you can go anywhere as long as you got your mask on, then you can stand in a polling line, social distance, 6 foot, and you can still vote. And because you have a mask on standing in line, when you get up there to vote, you have to take your mask off and show some ID to prove who you are. Because if the whole line is masked, it could be anybody. So it's two birds and one stone. Voter ID, and that cuts down on all the illegal voting, from illegal immigrants. And it takes away the whole argument of mail-in ballots. If we can go out, if everybody for the next 3 months are wearing masks, and that's just the new way that it is, and we're safe, according to Dr. Fauci and everybody else, masks make you safe, well, then you can safely go stand in the polling line and you can vote. And it just nullifies mail-in ballots. Takes their last argument away. So because of that, I'm good with masks. I know what they're for, but it's a strategy. And I got it. I see the alliance's strategy and it makes sense. Something I'd like to think I would have thought of that. But I got it and it makes sense. So I'm gonna wear a mask. And I'm not even gonna wear my protest ghetto mask. I'm just gonna wear that bullshit little, paper shit that everybody wears at the little whatever they call them. They're not surgical masks. Well, I guess they would be considered surgical masks. But there's studies, and here's the thing. Nobody yet has produced any science that says masks work. But there are many studies that says masks don't work. But you don't hear that on the mainstream media. Nobody's talking about that. So, and here's the thing. As Jim Kim Fu, as warriors in warfare, and this is a silent war that we're in, we have to be adaptable. So be able to change. Like when Georgianne and I used to publish our newsletters back in the mid-90s, we always had a disclaimer at the bottom of at the back, the last page of the newsletter. These are our perspectives in this now moment. They are subject to change tomorrow or within the next 10 minutes. We're not attached to what you do with this data. Accept what resonates with you, toss what doesn't. I even had a joke, you can line your bird cage with these newsletters. We don't care. And that's how I am here. Non-attached. And see, that's where it was brought to my attention by Big Me that my last video I was talking about, sharing frustration that you guys may not be doing the rescinding the vows. So I got to do another lesson of rescinding the vows. And it's like, wait a minute. I was getting attached to you guys understanding or following through what I'm saying, and that's not my position. That's not my responsibility. My job is to just give you the data. What you do with it is yours to do. And I lost sight of that. And so Big Me kind of brought me back to center and had me focus on that. So like, no, I'm not. I don't. Whatever you guys do with my information, it's yours to do. And it's like, because then it was also pointed out, well, who are you to judge what's best for them? Their higher selves. They're in the care of their higher selves, not you. And I go, yeah, that is true. They're not. They're not. You know, hell, I don't even know who you guys are. You're not in the care. You're not in my care. You're in the care of your larger self. Your larger self knows exactly what you need to be doing. And in according to divine timing, will bring that into your reality. Like, check this out. My sister Cynthia, I was telling you about her. Her masquerade is a 61-year-old black woman, homeless black woman in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle Tacoma area. She just got, she just told me today, she just got a deposit into her checking account of $10,000 plus due to back applied uh, unemployment. They paid her in one lump sum retroactively, including the amount for the pandemic relief and yada yada yada, the shutdown relief. She got all that. She got it. She said she laughed for like 10 minutes straight. A deposit of $10,000 plus in her checking account. How's that? For not being alone, for having resources and help in the higher dimensions. Down here in the trenches, it gets rough, but we're not alone, folks. Now, in my case, my eyesight, I can't see out of this eye, and I'm okay with that. Not okay, but it is what it is. This side is blurry. I can see, but it's blurry as shit. Like right now, I can just barely see the computer screen, see me on the computer screen from the camera. Well, I asked my primary care physician about 6 months ago, could he get me another ophthalmologist because I wanted a second opinion. I wasn't happy with the first guy. Well, make long story short, we are in the process. I just went Friday, take a test, and a specific eye test, so that they can tell what type of lens and what they need to do to correct my vision, remove the cataract surgery. I'm slated for cataract surgery, and they're pretty well sure that they're going to be able to clear my vision up and make me not ever wear glasses. Is that the coolest thing or what? So I'm tickled pink about that. Uh, Cynthia said she's gonna. I asked her when she told me about, because Cynthia, I've been helping her back and forth for years. She's always been she's my quote little sister, my quote favorite sister. Plus, she's my spiritual partner. She and I have been, and even when Georgianne was alive, it was always the three of us. We were real tight, spiritually growing up together. And so it's like, I've always been there financially for Cynthia because I've always worked. Uh, that wasn't my assignment to be homeless. But anyway, when she told me about the $10,000 deposit, first thought popped in my head is, wow, I wonder if she'd loan me $500. And I'm thinking, loan me $500 so that I can buy my bicycle and cargo cart. And so, but I never said anything. And then a few minutes later, she goes, Michael, do you need anything? And so I share what I go, well, I thought, but I wasn't going to ask, but I thought if you to ask, if you could loan me $500. And she goes, well, I got one more check that I should have in a couple days. And she goes, I'm kind of freaking out, because she goes, this windfall is all the money I'm going to have. I don't have a job, yada, yada, yada. She goes, but in the next couple of days, I'll know for sure whether I get this last deposit, this last unemployment deposit. And she said it's $800. She goes, I'll know in a couple days, and if it does show up, I will gift you the $800. And then she said, and if it doesn't show up, I'm going to gift you the $800 anyway. So there's my bike. There's my cargo cart. A lot sooner than I thought. So anyway, I'd say to that, I'd say thank you, Spirit. So yeah, anyway, this went a lot longer than I thought. Folks, I love you. Blessings on your journey. Like I said, always share. If this is yours to do, share this, give it a like, and I will talk to you soon. Blessings on your journey. Bye bye.